Okay, you guys ready? Hi everyone, so there is some really funny stuff going on with Rogues right now. You might have seen my clip the other day that I uploaded, or I posted also here on Twitter, where I just went in and I basically one-tapped Uber Lilith in one go. As you can see here, she is dead. And there is some stuff that we have figured out since then that I was not aware of at the time. So there is a bug with the T-Bolt's Will item. This is this new unique here that gives you this extra damage when you're unstoppable. A lot of builds use that because it's a very powerful item for the extra damage in a defensive slot. And it turns out that this maximum resource roll on this item actually gives you extra maximum combo points as well. So you can see here I have 0 out of 18 combo points, which is exactly the plus 15 that we have here from the pants. And this leads to some really funny interactions. So the thing is that I was trying this out on a build that I had previously played until like level 70 or so. Then I respec the Rain of Arrows, I made my guide, etc. And then I respec back to that other build. And I put on my endgame gear basically. So I had acquired these uniques. And I was not aware that there was some problem here because the build was already blasting really hard by the time I was reaching level 70. And I was not really thinking much of it. But I did notice that sometimes my damage was really spiky and like I was doing massively more damage sometimes. And I couldn't quite understand why. So I did some testing on this and I figured maybe there's something wrong with those pants or so because I took them off one time and then my damage was like more normal. And then I put them back on and sometimes I had these spikes again. But when I did any kind of testing, I just couldn't find the reason behind it. Because I just didn't notice that we had more combo points. And the thing is that if you combine this with Condemnation, this is when you unlock the real power of this thing. Because when I did some testing and I was trying to find like a target dummy bear next to Kyoba Shard here, I was I was not running with Condemnation. And Condemnation, the way this works is that it actually just fills up your combo points when you attack. So instead of giving you 3 combo points, if you attack and this procs, you see here, I did like 1 attack and I got 18 combo points. And well, sometimes this triggers and sometimes this doesn't. So this is where that spiky damage came from. So that is kind of interesting. And having 18 combo points obviously is pretty busted because it means that all of your combo point effects that you usually get continue to scale. So you see this here, for example, for rapid fire, you get +1 arrow for every combo point and every arrow deals more damage as well. And then you also get plus crit chance for every continuous arrow fired. So this is like the craziest scaling skill actually. So especially for the single target nukes where we saw here in the Lilith clip earlier, she just dies basically. But this same works for other skills as well. So barrage, also extra arrows, extra damage. There's pen shot, extra damage and extra lucky hit. And then there's extra damage on twisting blades and movement speed. So that's kind of useless because of the cap. However, if there was no movement speed cap, you could get like 500% or something like that. And then the same here with flurry with the attack speed. So the 2 skills that really benefit a lot from this are Rapid Fire and Barrage. And you can see this here right now, so I have these 18 combo points, and if I just fire Barrage now, you'll see, it will just continue firing. And basically similar with the Rapid Fire. So when you do this again, and we got our 18 combo points, and now we fire, you're gonna see this is a lot of arrows here. So this is why it has this crazy spiky damage, and this is like obviously a pretty massive bug. And I didn't really do like exactly the math on this, but I would estimate this is roughly giving you 3 times, 4 times the normal damage basically. So it takes the normal damage and then times 3 or so. It's just because you have more arrows and they deal more damage per arrow, and this happens quite frequently when you try to build 3 combo points anyway with Condemnation. So this is exactly the combo that is at work here. Now, this is obviously pretty busted, and this also means that you have like a really massive late game power spike when you acquire those 2 items, and you're kind of forced to play combo points as well. So for everyone who wants to play not a combo point build and wants to unlock this power, well, this doesn't work. And I think obviously this has to be fixed. This is pretty game breaking to the point where you can actually just kill world bosses with this. World bosses are the tankiest enemies in the entire game. And that looks like this. So I did that yesterday, where, well, I fully optimized the setup, and boop, 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 and that was the world boss. So world bosses have roughly 240 million HP. A 4-man Duriel has roughly 190 million HP. And well, this Lilith was absolutely a child's play. Lilith has like 25 million. So this was like, you know, this was not even the fully unlocked form here, basically. But there are some tweaks I made to the setup to give like the most power possible to it. And it's like absolutely ridiculous. So I can do like 250 million damage in one go with this combo. Mostly we have the offensive armor uniques here. So T-Bolt's Will, of course, the 40% plus the bug. Then we have the Goldslayer Crown up to 60%. And then finally the Banished Lord's Talisman. So the way that I do this, if you want to do like this kind of one-shot shenanigans, you have this counter here to get up to 300. So you basically prepare this before a fight, get to 300, and this will make your next hit a guaranteed overpower with the amulet. So your next core skill, in fact. So this allows you to still use your basic attacks. It still allows you to do smoke grenade, etc. Then we get a guaranteed crit from using concealment. And then the rest is just stacking up buffs. Start with a puncture or 2 to get the combo points. Plus we get the marksman buff from the close quarter combat. Then you do a blade shift to get the cutthroat buff for close quarter combat. So you have both bonuses active. And then you do 1-2 right click, and well, this is how it melts basically. So I have the entire setup here. I can also show you the planner. This is the Penshot RF planner that I had on my stream lately. So it's this planner here. There is just like this one-shot boss variant that I put in there that has exactly this combo with the Banished Lord's Talisman, Rapid Fire, so there's actually no Penshot here. So I just removed that to make like these one-shot memes possible. And for the Paragons, if you have seen this build before, then this is very similar, but otherwise I picked up basically lots of flat damage, lots of physical damage. There's like the tricks of the trade that you trigger, so you want to do the puncture and then the blade shift, so you trigger tricks of the trade for the 25% extra damage. And lots of damage versus crowd controlled to stack up close quarters combat. And then the rest of the tree is just like, you know, full offense basically. There's actually so many points that you don't even have to spend. Like, it doesn't really matter. You don't really need the Dark Shroud, you don't really need the concealment stacks. You know, there's like random points that you just try to put somewhere. And this might help you out, for example, if you go Duriel and your fight might not end immediately, for example. But yeah, there's a lot of like points that are just kind of like optional here. But if you follow this tree, you have this set up, you're basically gonna kill every single boss in the game in one go, even in 4-man teams. So this is how crazy that is. Now, is that gonna get nerfed? Maybe, but we have this tweet here from Joe Shaley that says that they have no plans to nerf any of the fun that the players are having in Season 2 right now. However, I mean, this is a pretty game-breaking thing. I would not really exclude the possibility of this getting fixed quite soon. Because, well, it's just like, you know, too crazy, and it kind of invalidates a lot of other builds on the Rogue. And it's not like Rogue needs that extra power, to be honest. So I think they're just fine. In fact, I actually went in here yesterday after this, and I tried one little attempt without T-Bolt's Will. So I was not only giving up the bug, but I was also giving up 40% free damage multiplier. And, well, this was the result here. So, really not too much to worry about for the rogues. But this is how the setup works. This is how the bug works. So, in case you are curious, rogues are pretty busted right now because of this. If you see those random world boss one-shots, that might be a rogue. Or it might be a bard, because they can do that too, but without bugs. So, there's that, I guess. And with that, I'm gonna leave you. So hope you enjoyed this video. There's a setup linked in the description if you want to go check out the build. So, you know, regardless of a bug fix, it's gonna be the same setup if you want to one-shot bosses basically. And well, even without the bug, you see it's very powerful. So you won't be able to kill like a world boss in that go, in one go or so without the pants. Maybe it will be like a quarter of a world boss in one go, and you know, maybe a half of a Duriel or a third of a Duriel in 4-man. So kind of sad story, I guess. But the build is still there. So, hope you enjoyed this. Wish you good luck with this Season 2. And see you guys next time.